Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and I'm very happy to be showing you finally my newest custom. I've been working on a few of these customs for quite some time. Some of them have been taking longer than others, and because of that, they've been pushing the other ones back, and it's just been a busy time period for the customs. And I've been spending more time on them than I should have been spending budget-wise, but that's just the way it goes. Sometimes I start working on a project and I decide how much I'm going to do for it based on how much they're paying. I mean, that's how it works. And then I always end up doing more. And this is one of those cases where I kept doing things to make it better. And so it took longer, but that's the way it goes. And I'm okay with it because you end up with a result that the customer's happy with. So it's always a good deal in the end. So that's all right. I'm not complaining or anything like that. But I know you guys have been asking, where are all the customs? We haven't seen customs, and it really hasn't been that long, but it has been at least a little while. So now we do have something to show you. By we, I mean I. I say we because I'm usually including you guys in the things I'm saying, but in some cases it just makes no sense and you should ignore me. Anyway, this is Gambit. This is basically based on the 90s cartoon Jim Lee Gambit with some hints of other Gambits kind of mixed in for some color schemes and things like that. But that's mostly what we went for. You can see the hair is a little bit more orange than most current Gambits. They often draw him brown these days with brown hair. And so we wanted to go with the Jim Lee look from the cartoon, so he definitely got the orange hair. I didn't want it to be super vibrant orange, but it still has that kind of a ginger look to it, and that's what the customer wanted, so that's what we did. So anyway, before we talk about it anymore, let's go ahead and get it off the stand, and we can kind of take a closer look. So you might have noticed this is basically your average Marvel Legends custom. It's using all Marvel Legends parts. However, I came up with a brand new recipe. I don't think anybody's ever done even anything close to this recipe for Gambit, and if they have, I'm not aware of it. So what I did, because I've made a few Gambits, and some of them were when I very first started out, and they were good at the time for for what I was able to do, but by today's standards, they're not so great. And I didn't want to reuse those recipes entirely. I was going to use parts of them, and then I decided not to, except for the jacket and part of the arms. You kind of need the jacket for Gambit, and there just really aren't any good options out there. And this one is basically a perfect option, other than it's not completely symmetrical. I don't like the way it kind of comes over on the front more here, but that's just the way it goes. I don't have options like that. So what I used, and there's a lot of parts in this guy, if I remember correctly. I'll try to remember them as I go. It's been a while since I started. So the main torso right here is the Shield Agent or Captain America or various other characters. That one, that universal body that they used far too sparingly because it was a generally really nice body. So that is the torso and the shoulders, and technically the upper arms. However, I resculpted the upper arms to make his jacket on there, so it's got all the wrinkles and little crack marks for the leather. And one of the reasons I did that was because the upper arms that match these lower arms, which are from the Nick Fury, or I guess some Punishers use that too, they were very tubular. They were like basically the same size as the lower arms, and jackets aren't cut that way and people aren't built that way, so I gave the upper arms a little bit more material to work with, and I needed them in terms of how to connect the body parts. That's just the way it worked out. So I did that, and I added the stitch work and stuff along the back, so it's all pretty seamless. So that's what's in there. For the head, most people, I don't know most people. Some people are going to be able to guess what head I used. Most people probably aren't. I actually used a Steve Rogers head that fit on that body because I needed the ball peg that worked. But then I cut off the ears, cut off the top of the head, resculpted the eyebrows, resculpted the nose, resculpted the mouth and chin, and then sculpted the balaclava type cowl or hood on him that Gambit's known for. And then I put the ears back on where I wanted them, and then I sculpted the hair. So yes, technically it's the Steve Rogers head, but the only part, I also resculpted the cheeks. The only part that's original is the eyeballs, basically. That's about it. So, I don't know, I like it. I think it turned out nice, and it gives Gambit that right look. He's got kind of the scowl on there, but not too much, I don't think. I don't know, I think it turned out good. You guys can let me know what you think. And then for the hair, we wanted to go with the more cartoon look without being like super spiky and cell shaded, obviously. So I tried to blend a little bit more of a contemporary look with the cartoon look, and my customer was happy with it, and other people are happy with it. So I'm interested to see what you guys think. When I say other people, I'm talking about the Patreon guys, the guys that are supporting me through there. They've seen this in the process. They've seen every part of it as I was building it, so that's what I'm referring to. If you guys want to check that out, I didn't plan on plugging this, but what the heck, it's my video. Anyway, patreon.com/AnthonysCustoms. You may want to contribute. You get some cool videos and some free figures occasionally, things like that. But if not, that's cool, I get it. Anyway, back to the recipe. So for the hand over here, it's a, what hand is that? It's from the current Marvel Legends. It's just like a generic gripping hand. I want to say, it might have come from like Whirlwind, maybe. I'm not sure. It's that mold, though. And then this hand is actually from the old Hasbro Marvel Legends from a long while ago, where they had the 2-pack with Forge and Wolverine. That's one of Wolverine's hands. So I had to resculpt the top of the hand to not have claw things on there. But I like that hand because he can hold his playing cards in that one pretty nicely. And then obviously this one right here is good for the staff. And I'll show you guys the accessories in a little bit. From the waist down, we have Bucky Cap, actually just from the waist down to the thighs. That's all of the Bucky Cap mold. So I connected that to this mold. Had to do a little bit of resculpting around the waist other than this belt thing right here. I had to actually resculpt the crotch area. And then for the lower legs, from the knees down, or actually from the calves down, the knees are Bucky Cap, I used, what is it? Oh, I used Bullseye. That's right. I used Bullseye, and I actually just dremelled them down completely to basically the pegs, and I resculpted. Everything on the lower legs is sculpted by hand, including the knee pads, including the feet, including everything. That was a pain in the butt. I wasn't expecting it to be that much work, but it was, and I think it worked out. You guys can let me know what you think. Oh, I lied. The upper lower legs are actually Bucky Cap also. I fused them in the middle. So I connected Bullseye's legs to Bucky Cap's upper legs right around here, and then I resculpted everything after I took it all down. So that's what that is. And I guess that's it for the parts I used. I sculpted, obviously, the whole head. I sculpted all of this collar piece. A lot of people like to pull the one off of the old Gambit. It's not a very good sculpt. It's not what I would like to use. So I sculpted that all from scratch. I sculpted this from scratch, and then, like I said, I sculpted all of the boots from scratch. All of the sculpting on this guy was the Aves or Aves or Aves, however you pronounce it, Fixit, except for the knee pads. The knee pads, the flat round part and the triangle part, are both Sculpey. I baked those, and then I added the ring around it and added them to the knees using Fixit Sculpt. So that's it for the body. In terms of paint, all of the black is just plain old black. It's got kind of a satin finish. The pinkish area, I brushed it with a purplish pink, and then I dry brushed the pink on top, and that's got a slightly more matte finish. And then the jacket, while it looks kind of shiny right now, it's a very flat brown, dry brushed over black. It's just the lights making it look shiny. The skin tone and the pink and the blue, and not the brown, but the hair is all custom blended. I like to blend my own paints just because it gives me exactly what I want. Anyway, the face has like 4 different shades of skin tone, even though it's very hard to tell. I make them semi-translucent, just a little bit, and then I layer them down to give it a little bit of realism. And then I also brushed on the gray stubble. Then I painted the lips. And then for the eyes, I like to put a little bit of pink around the eye, especially for Gambit, since he's got black eyes. You can't line them with black, it doesn't work. So I put a little bit of pink around the eyes, very subtly, just a tiniest little bit. Then I painted the black, and then I painted the red pupils, and then I painted his eyebrows with that kind of iconic little flippy thing at the top, which is from the cartoon. And for the hair, I used, I think, 3, maybe 4 shades of brown and orange to get that kind of natural looking shading. I don't like real dark shading in hair, so that's what I went with. And then, like I said, the blue was just a metallic blue that I mixed up with some silvers and blues to get what I wanted. And that's all flat also. Of course, it's metallic, so it's only like semi-flat, but that's what it is. And then for the pants, those are the same pink, or those stripes are the same pink as on the torso. That's all just freehand. It's actually a lot squarer, and of course I can say this, and you guys don't have to believe me, but it's a lot more square than it looks like. It's just that there's a lot of muscle texturing on there, so you don't necessarily notice it. Okay, so let's talk accessories. There are a few. We're going to set Gambit aside. And the first accessory, not super impressive, but it's a steel rod for his staff. And the way I make these, well, I buy the steel rod, but I don't buy regular steel rod. It's stainless, and it's hollow. That way it's nice and lightweight, and it's not going to rust or anything. But since it's hollow, I have to put some sculpt in there and just paint it. So the ends are sculpted and painted, but the rod itself is a super lightweight stainless steel, so it's pretty durable and never going to rust. So that's one accessory. We need that, pretty basic. And then we need some playing cards. And how I normally do the playing cards is I just draw them or paint them on some plastic. But this time, I wanted to go a little bit fancier. I don't know, see, like I said, I just do these things and it ends up costing me all kinds of time. I probably spent 3 hours just making the playing cards. Anyway, what I decided to do, let's focus so you guys can actually see this. They're super tiny, just so you guys have some idea. If you're not sure how big my fingers are, we're looking at less than a ½ inch. About, I don't know. Let's go centimeters. That might be better since they're so small. We have, they're just shy of a centimeter, about 8 millimeters at the longest end. Anyway, I made these out of paper. I went on the computer, got some images of playing cards, photoshopped them to the way I liked them. Then I printed them out on regular paper with my inkjet printer. I covered them with a nice clear tape, and I cut them out. So I did that for the fronts, and I did that for the backs. So each one of those is printed separately, individually. And then in between that layer of tape and then paper, there's a two-face tape that holds the front to the backs. So each playing card is actually 5 layers, which, like I said, it turned out to be way more work than I thought, but it makes them the right thickness, at least close enough, and he can hold them. So we have one set of 3, one set of 2. I just glued the cards together after I printed them out. And then as another bonus, I made some flaming card accessories. Let me get them on camera so you guys can see these. Because Gambit's known for throwing his cards around, I did the same process for the cards, made them the exact same way. Then I used some nice hot glue to make the fire, and then I painted them up with the translucent red paint to give us our card effect. So there they are. That's it. So there's my Gambit. That's my newest custom. It's one of the ones I've been working on. I have 2 more in the works right now. One of those is the Samurai Deadpool you guys have seen on my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Then another one is an original character which has not yet been named and is just in the very beginning stages. And I'm actually going to be starting a couple more commissions very soon. So there are more coming. It's just taking a while. So let me know what you guys think about this Gambit. I love Gambit. He's one of my favorite characters. So it was a treat to work on this, and I'm sure the customer is going to be happy to add this to his Jim Lee collection because he's the guy that also commissioned the Jim Lee Cyclops. And once he got that, he just had to have more, I guess. So happy for him that he's going to have a nice Gambit figure. At least I think it's nice. I don't want to humble brag or anything, but I don't think it's lousy anyway. All right, we're going to call it there before I keep talking and rambling. Thanks for watching, guys. I have new videos up every morning, so make sure you subscribe to the channel for all that good stuff. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, lots of good things. So come back for that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.